Booney, of course, now you win 3 straight against the Cardinals, coming off a sweep. Take the time to join BT Sal. How are you, Booney?
He shows up.
Timing's everything.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You guys are down in Tampa. We appreciate you coming back on, Aaron. Listen, let's start with this. A lot of things to hit, and Sal and I were talking about the realignment, and listen, if and when this comes to fruition, there's going to have to be expansion. So this is still several years away. What I would love and what we would love to get your thoughts on, if the Yankees and the Mets were in the same division, I'm all for it and all the craziness it brings. As the manager of the Yankees and the players, how would you guys feel about that?
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did see Boston, us, Phillies, Mets. Yep. I mean, that would be like some high stakes ball throughout the year, man. I don't know how all that would work or how the playoff system would work, but I know 32 teams would be a much smoother way to go, and scheduling and all that. That'd be a tough division, though.
But would it be too much? I mean, for the Yankees, forget about the Phils and the Sox for a moment, and that's going to be intense as well. One of the beautiful things about Yanks and Mets, we get 3 games here, 3 games there, go back to our normal workday. Would it be too much intensity, too much noise, too much whatever?
Yeah, maybe, because I do like that part of it. I like obviously you're going to have your division rivals that obviously play a lot of games, us with Boston, et cetera. But yeah, I think some of the appeal with, the 2 teams in the same city and 2 big market teams like the Mets and the Yankees, like some of the, novelty or just some of the excitement is the infrequency with which we play. So I think those one-off series are a little more meaningful. So yeah, sitting here right now, that's my kind of thought on it, but it's also one of those things that feels like so far down the line, Yeah,
we might have to worry about that, Booney. Unfortunately, you got to pick it up.
This guy.
All right, so
come on.
Where are we at with Judgy? Is Judge getting back in right field this weekend or what? I know Stan's playing right tonight. I saw you say that. Where are we at with Aaron Judge in the outfield?
I don't know yet. I mean, kind of what I've said is I'm waiting on the trainers to kind of say, yeah, thumbs up. I know he's expected a long toss again today, so I don't expect it here in Tampa, but could it be Boston? Maybe. I just don't know yet. That's all. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah. No, we believe you. And, listen, when it gets to a pitcher, it's long toss, it's flat ground, it's maybe just fastballs, then you start snapping some stuff off. I'm not aware of the progression of an outfielder's throwing routine. So on a scale of 1 to 10, without holding you to it, is he at a 6? Where is he at?
Yeah, I think he threw out to 150 his last time.
Yeah.
Trying to get through where he can, let it go with ease and be able to protect himself, obviously. I don't think we're going to see him back to like throwing like he normally does at any point this year, but that's okay too. But we got to feel like he can go out there and be able to protect himself and represent himself.
Any concerns with Stanton as far you're not going to be able? You said already, so he's going to be in right field tonight in Tampa, and then not tomorrow automatically. Any concerns because his body's not recovering, maybe the way that you would think that he would, or the way that he would want to?
Yeah, I mean, that's my plan, is to play him tonight. And G and I talked about this, the last couple days and kind of setting it up like, feel like we got one here in Tampa, which one makes the most sense. So we'll start with that and then see where we are for the Boston series.
And obviously the same dimensions. They're playing at Steinbrenner Field, so you can kind of, hide them there a little bit, 3-14 down the line. Yankees.
Yeah, the other thing is with guys playing, I feel like guys are playing really well. Like on the day he's not in there, like having that bullet over there, in a big spot, which, we were set up for that the other day with, with St. Louis and having his bat available there for finally they brought in the lefty and they're going to make that run. And, there's the one thing I like about our club right now is our roster's a little more complete, especially getting Rosario back today. Like, the guys on the bench today are some real weapons and can play a key role in a big spot.
There's no question about that. Some good deadline additions. Aaron Boone, of course, Yanks skipper. Yanks 67 and 57, 5 out. That wild card is jam-packed. All three wild cards with a 540 winning percentage. All right, Aaron, it's funny. We talk about Stanton and obviously Judge, and we seem to fixate so much on the offense here. It's my contention, if Max Fried doesn't get right, the hope goes out the window. Like, Max Fried's got, now you might not see it that way, but Max Fried has got to start pitching better. I don't know what the numbers say. You have them. Is it an over-reliance on a certain pitch? I know he loves the cutter. Is it that he's got a little dead arm? Is it just baseball? What's going on with Fried? He's had some rough starts.
Yeah, so I don't think it's anything physical or dead arm or anything like that. Stuff's fine. I think it is one of the things that makes Max so good is his big arsenal of a lot of really good weapons. And I think making sure he continues to have that presence with it. So for me, it's like some of the arm side stuff, like he's got to get back to really dominate. So that's sinker on that side of the plate to a righty or change up going that way. Whereas the cutter's such a good pitch for him. And when he's gone through some struggles, he leans on it pretty heavily. And I think certain guys and certain teams have hunted that on him a little bit and made him pay with that. So he's definitely, I feel like, searching for it a little bit. But I think the stuff is all there, and it's making sure he's using the entire arsenal and then commanding that. And if he's doing that, I think it happens like that, to where all of a sudden he's back to being Max that we've seen for most of the year. So we got to.
So you're not worried?
Not worried. I mean, I'm not worried about like, oh, something's physically wrong with him, or it's not like that. I think he's going through it a little bit and kind of searching a little bit out there. But I'm confident that can click, really quickly. Once he gets that feeling, boom, now you get the confidence going again. And when he's commanding that entire arsenal, he's just so hard. The way I look at it is, as a hitter, is like he's just really hard to get a beat on when he's got it all going.
Okay.
Are we getting to a point where we're going to start to see some more consistency with the lineup? I mean, that top part of your lineup, where you got Grisham, Rice, and then Judge, and obviously the protection behind him, Bellinger. Are we going to see some consistency, or is it still the analytics and matchups on any given night you can maybe mess with that top 4 or 5?
Well, the only thing that's really changes is like, with Stanton being out of the lineup and Goldschmidt being out of the lineup, that's when we're very left-handed. So then I just want to space out the righties a little bit. So like over the weekend, we had a couple of days where we had 3 righties in the lineup. So I go Judge 3, Volpe 6, Caballero was 9, for example. Today we're more balanced, against Baz with, I got Goldie back in there. I got Stanton back in there. So I kind of go left, right, left it throughout.
Is Rice catching tonight?
Rice catching, yeah.
Oh, and he's hitting second.
He's hitting fifth
tonight. See, that's what I mean, Booney. Why isn't... I love Grisham, I love Rice, and Judge. That top 3, not as good when you had Soto, Judge last year, but obviously Glaber in the postseason, that top 3 was very potent for you guys.
Okay, but Stanton's playing today and Goldschmidt's playing today, so tell me the lineup then.
Well, I'm just saying, who's your 2-hitter tonight? Goldie?
Judge.
Oh, you move Judge up to number 2. Okay. Up. Yeah, I just like those top 3. And that's why I was asking. I don't know if it's... Do you think the players don't care about having consistency? I get the matchups and the analytics and all that stuff. It drives me nuts, but I understand it. I just like, no matter what, if Rice is going to be in the lineup, and obviously going to get his bat in there more often than not, Grisham, Rice, Judge.
Instead of saying it like that, tell me the lineup then.
Well, then have Jazz bat behind Judge. If you want the lefty-righty, I personally would have... Well, where's Bellinger, by the way? Is he behind Judge?
He's third.
Yeah, he's third. Okay, so then I would have Bellinger 4th behind Judge. And then you could have Stanton behind him. I just want Grisham, Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Stanton's 5. Keep going.
All right, then probably Jazz.
6, okay.
You could go where we had Volpe here or Goldschmidt. You want to go Goldschmidt there?
Huh?
Right. And who am I forgetting here? We got
Volpe, Arrow.
Yeah, okay, there you go. 8, 9, however you want to put that. That's what I would probably do. Now, I'm not looking at analytics. I'm just saying that if from an opponent's perspective, God, Grisham, Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, that just strikes fear in me from an opponent's point of view.
All right. Well, he'll have to strike 5 holding.
All right, so the bottom line is we're not going to get consistency then. It's going to be matchup based or lefty righty, which that's why I wanted to ask the question.
It just, look, you take one guy out of the lineup and it kind of changes it a little bit. So I feel like for the most part, we have been fairly consistent with the lineup. Anyway, you take one guy out, though, it moves the furniture around a little bit.
And Aaron, in a lot of ways,
I don't want to go 6 out of 7 or 5 out of 6 lefties and then 3 righties in a row. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of try and put the lefty that I know I might hit for. I got Rosario back tonight, so that Tampa's got a couple of good lefties that they'll match you up, especially late in the game. That I want to have a place for them to come out and have a good matchup for a guy off the bench.
All right, so here's what I need from you.
Okay.
I need you to give us a real honest, and I can look at Savant and I can see red and blue and all the stuff. I want to hear in your words, because we know he can hit, Ben Rice defensively as a catcher now, and then where you think he could be, whatever his ceiling. I know he's deficient throwing the ball, but I want to hear the whole scout report on Rice defensively.
Well, even going into this year, he's a really good receiver, framer, which is obviously a big piece of the pie nowadays, and how these guys are judged. So that's something that his skill, we knew even coming into the season, was excellent. It's a little different how he does it. I feel like now that he's gotten some opportunity, I feel like the blocking's been pretty good. He had a game the other day where 2 got by him, but overall, that part has been good. I feel like the blocking is somewhere where he's improved. I feel like the receiving's been good. He's actually even thrown out a couple runners too, which is good for not having the strongest arm. But where the kind of the unmeasurable thing where I think he's grown a ton since the first game he started for us, whenever that might have been a couple months ago, to now getting some more opportunity is he's I feel like developing a little bit of a presence back there, and his game calling feel back there, his game planning with pitchers and things like that, I think has been really good and been really encouraging to see. So I think he's taken massive strides just from a confidence and a presence standpoint. With however many times he's been back there, probably a dozen times now, whatever. I've noticed a big gain in confidence, and even my confidence in him has grown more than maybe even I expected.
Okay, so that's Rice. Then there's the flip side, and that's Austin Wells. And I remember saying a year or two ago to Sal, I'm like, I think eventually he's going to be an all-star because I thought he was going to easily bang 20-plus. He seems, and I you're the coach, so I don't want to get preachy here. I don't understand how that kind of a swing, you miss that many letter-high fastballs. I same with Volpe sometimes. I just don't get that. But while Rice is ascending, and I'm not trying to be unfair to Wells, is it accurate to say, at least in the eyes of the organization, that Wells is going the other way?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say he's definitely going through it and has struggled here a little bit, especially over the last few weeks. But I think it's important that we get so prisoner of the moment with guys, especially sometimes young players. The reality is, I agree with you on the all-star stuff with Austin. Like, I have such a high thought of what I think he can and will be. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to hit. I think he's real. And that said, he's been very productive this year. When you match him up with catchers, he's got 15 homers, almost 60 ribbies, and that's kind of going through it here the last 3-4 weeks where he has struggled offensively.
Yeah.
So who I think he is as an offensive player, that it surprises me a little because I expect a lot from him offensively. So, but that also being said, it's also a very young player that's playing a demanding position and has grown a lot behind the plate over the last 2 years, especially into, I think, the verdict was always out on the defensive side. And I think he's answered a lot of those questions. So it's also a young player playing a demanding position, kind of finding his way and going through some struggles. So I still think we're going to see that all-star level guy, but we got to keep working to get it out of him. And now Rice is pushing, and earn more opportunities here too. But that's also like we're a snapshot in time here. Like we get so prisoner of the moment that this can look a lot different in a week, 10 days, a month.
Understood. I mean, listen, one of the points last year that kind of coincided with you guys taking off was when you guys put Austin Wells in the 4 spot. So and that's where the offense took a nice, no doubt. There's good qualities, but do you see, especially with a young guy in Rice trying to take his job, is Austin Wells, is he a worker? Is he a fighter? Like, do you see him digging in and saying, hey, my baseball, I don't know if I don't want to overstate it, but at least my starting spot is up for grabs, and I'm not about to relent that. Is he that kind of scrappy kid?
Yeah. And I think he's very confident too. Like he's got presence to him and he's got confidence to him. And that being said, I do sense that he's going through it too offensively.
Yeah.
Kind of, but it's also that, again, it's like, it's just such a demanding position that it's hard to just beat it down in the cage all the time when you're like so immersed in and have to be immersed in the game planning stuff and the recovery stuff just because it's such a demanding position. So I do feel like his work the last week or two has been good. But now we just got to start getting some results out of it.
BT and Sal on the Fan here. We're talking with Yankees manager Aaron Boone. The number one criticism that I had of the Yankees organization wasn't necessarily you, but the organization was it feels like a lack of accountability. Fans have been calling, Boone doesn't get on this guy, or the sloppy play continues. Where are you at as far as holding players accountable if they do things that, look, running into an out happens, walking off a second base, we're talking about Austin Wells, when there were 2 outs in the inning in a big spot, unacceptable. Jazz getting doubled off for first on a pop-up second, to me, unacceptable. And those are just little things. Where are you at holding these guys accountable when the mistakes seem to continue throughout the course of the year?
They seem to. I hear a lot of feels like and seems to. When we get to the base running stuff, a lot of this stuff is not true. Like it's become ingrained because of Game 5, and now anytime we make a mistake, which is inevitable, like our base running has not been an issue. Like we've made, out of 30 clubs, we've made the fewest pour outs on the bases in Major League Baseball, the fewest. And now we've gotten the running game going because we're more athletic too, and that's becoming a factor. I want us to at times be more aggressive on the bases, which is going to lead to some more outs or getting thrown out. Like sometimes I feel like here, because it gets so noisy that guys err on the side of caution sometimes and don't push the envelope, because every time we get thrown out, it's like, people lose their minds. When we gotta feel like we can be aggressive. And I feel like right now, over the last couple of weeks, especially with some of our athletes being now back full and a part of it, we are doing that better right now. So we've got to continue to do that. As far as the accountability, look, you have tough conversations with people all the time. Like people want you sometimes to pull a guy out of a game because, I've done that a few times in my career. There's certain things that bring me to the point of saying I need to take him out of the game, right? A couple of the ones you mentioned were not those cases for me. You start taking this guy out for this, that, and the other. New York makes you so accountable. It's inherent. It's a blessing and a curse. Because you walk through those doors every day, there's no more accountable place. There's a couple that can rival. You play in Philly, you play in Queens, you play in Boston. Like, accountability is all over these guys 24/7, okay? In a market like this, sometimes, not that it's not our job to hold them accountable, it certainly is, but more here than anywhere, I feel like it's my job to also quiet some of that too, because that accountability these guys feel at their core every single day.
You think they feel it more than, think about some of the stuff that A-Rod went through when he came here, and the A-Rod Jeter relationship, or Giambi with the steroids, or a multitude of other issues really before social media exploded. Is it, back then it was primarily us on the radio and the papers, is it easier now because they're almost desensitized to social media, or is it tougher because you never get to escape it?
Yeah, I think probably tougher because you never do get to escape it. Okay. And social media stories can come from, that guy in his grandma's basement, right? That now the people pick up on that though, and they run with that. And now it becomes bigger. So, one of my first things I talk to the guys about in spring training, one of the things I talk is about social media. It's like, man, you need to make some hard decisions here. Like, can you deal with it? Ask yourself that honestly, because you don't want this to, if it's impacting your livelihood at all, like, you need to make some hard decisions. It's still hard for people to not look, and I've had that conversation with our team, and I lead with it in spring training. Like, hey, if this is something you can do, great. If not, I'd advise you to stay away from it.
Yeah.
And I've taken that these last few years. Giancarlo Stanton said it so well. When we lost to the Red Sox in 21 in the wild card game.
Garrett Cole.
Yeah, he got up, and when G speaks, we all listen, right? I mean, he's one of the things I respect so much about him is he's so mentally disciplined and mentally tough, and does not. I feel like I've watched him evolve in his career here as a Yankee, and he is unaffected by anyone. Media, fans, play, whatever. He's unaffected. It's like he is so mentally disciplined to getting himself ready, knowing his body, that so he got up and talked about that. It's like, man, a lot of you guys are, whether something on social media is really affecting you. And really it's all nonsense, because you can find as great as you think you are, you can go find that, and as terrible as you think you are. And it's all toxic. At the end of the day, you got to do what you need to do to be ready to go every night, and to be prepared for your at-bats, be prepared for your doing your job every day. And it struck a chord with me that, man, this is affecting more guys than I expected.
It's the way of the world, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
And we try to resist it in our household. Like my son, who's 10, you've met him, doesn't have a phone. Some of his buddies do, and as soon as they get in the car after a game, right on the phone. I would imagine, and maybe I'm wrong, but you go into a locker room. I know they've got to do the media requirements. Is it a locker room of 20-something-year-olds sitting at their stools before or after a game? But stool in front of the locker, just going like that. Is that happening every day?
It is our world. Yeah.
Oh,
so we try to be off of them right when we get in, because we get together a team, especially after we win. And Judgy hates guys being on their phone, which I love. Yeah.
Well,
so
tell him to tell them to put him away. He's the captain.
Well, we do. All
right.
But I mean, it's like that time for us to bond as a team and to grow closer as a team. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Couple more for you, Aaron, and we appreciate your time. We're talking with Aaron Boone here, BT and Sal on the Fan. You think you're a better club than last year?
I mean, we went to the World Series last year, so the verdict's out. I mean, or the jury's out. I think we have a chance to be. I am, as hard as this last couple months has been, with some really down moments. I do feel like, where we are right now in the middle of August, from a health standpoint, from a roster construction standpoint, I certainly do believe we have that chance to be that team. So, and I've been saying that a lot through these last couple of months, but now that we are more whole and we've gotten some guys back and the trade deadline has come and gone and we've made the improvements, I still think we have a chance to be a great club. But the jury's out on that. We got to go prove that. And last year's team is, we got to the World Series. So I think it's just a little emotional to say, oh yeah, we're better than last year. I think we have a chance to be, and that's the hope, but we'll see.
And things have stabilized certainly after some rough stretches here over the last couple of months. People calling, oh, Aaron Boone, you want him to go. Maybe you be the fall guy. Have you gotten any assurances, or is there a chance if you miss the postseason, maybe you could be made the fall guy here?
No, I have no idea. I mean, I feel like this team has a chance to be excellent, and part of my job is making sure we realize that. So, there's expectations and pressure on that, and whatever happens in that regard happens. So my focus right now is trying to make sure we're turning into the best team we can possibly be with who we have. And I'm hopeful and I'm optimistic that has a chance to be special, and we still have a chance to realize that, despite what we've been through the last couple of months. But we got to go do it, and part of that's on me.
Since I don't think we've said it once, we've got to at least fulfill a piece of the quota for Recco's over. So Booney, which was I think 8.5, right? That's the first time we said it. What is the day-to-day dynamic with you and Cashman? Like, do you guys talk every day? How does that go?
I would say we pretty much talk every day. Yeah. I'd say there's probably a day maybe you miss here and there, but generally speaking, I talk to him about every day.
And is it about, well, what is it about? I mean, he reaches out to you, lineup stuff, organizational stuff, minor league stuff. What is it about?
No, never lineup stuff, or more just checking in a roster. Like a lot of time there's a guy coming back. We were talking about sending a guy down, things like that. Sometimes you're going through a tough stretch and you're kind of like, what can we do? You're having those kind of conversations. You're kind of supporting one another. He's really great to work for. He's so consistent in who he is. And so it could be everything. It's roster stuff. It's life stuff.
I got you.
What we're going through stuff.
I want to ask you this, even though it's kind of expired. I was disappointed that you guys didn't give Spencer Jones a look when Aaron Judge initially went down. I'm sitting there saying, all right, got a little 10-day window. He's mashing at AAA, mashed at AA, looks the part, maybe even better than some people in the organization maybe initially thought in terms of hitting for an average. How serious were you guys kicking the tires to call him up? And if not, my pushback would be, well, how do you not reward somebody that's playing that well? Like, I thought he earned 10 days. What went into that?
Well, yeah, because it was a short-term situation. Not on the roster.
Yep.
Left-handed, and ascending in a great way this year. Like his development and progress this year has been. I don't want to say he's put himself back on the map, because he was always on the map, but he is, like, with the year he's put together, it's like, okay, now this is the guy we can dream on again, and the industry realizes and acknowledges it. But really there wasn't, when Judge was down, you got obviously Stanton DH, and you've got Bellinger, Grisham, Dominguez. So we kind of wanted more of a right-handed piece there when there wasn't going to be that probably everyday run. Now, if you got in a longer-term situation, maybe a different conversation.
Aaron, I went out there. Sorry, BT. I went out there a couple, whatever it was, last Sunday maybe, see you guys against the Astros, and I was disappointed that I lasted longer than you did. You get tossed in that game early on. I got to sit there in that heat, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, Aaron? I think you become a bad influence on my partner here, getting kicked out of all these games. You're setting a bad example.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound a little bit hypocritical, but when you told me that he got kicked out of a NU, that's I'm just not okay with that. Like, hey, Dad, let's sit over there and just watch in silence. I'm not a big fan of
silence.
Well, no, you're coaching, right? You're coaching, right?
Coach.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Well, listen.
So before this, I coached flag in Scottsdale before this, and the guy I did it with, and it was huge back there. We had these awesome teams and things like that. And the guy I did it with had the ability to potentially get kicked out, and I was the hey, these are kids.
Yeah, understood.
Let's chill.
Well, I promise you this: if my son wandered off the base with one out, thinking there was three, his ass would have been next to Daddy. I can promise you that. Hey, Austin Wells, forget. Don't even sit on the dock. Get in the clubhouse. I don't want to look at you. I would have sat him down, Booty. Can't get on me for that, man. We got to win.
All right.
No,
but not win at all costs.
Well, I'm good.
Get
I'm
it.
good with discipline with the kids, but don't be getting kicked out. Clean
I
it
know.
up.
It really wasn't my fault, but nobody cares about that anymore.
Aaron, thank you so much. You're the man. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, dude.
Best of luck here the rest of the week.
Right.
Go get one of those playoff spots here. Make it
He's
easy on us.
good. He's
Trying to
good.
we're trying to defend him. Yeah, he's getting beat, but we're happy to talk to you, so we appreciate the few minutes. Good luck against the Rays and then the Sox and the rest of the way.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Aaron.
see you.
Appreciate it.